I think for every fan, there's always that kind of moment during the season. And sometimes you don't even know when it happens, but you just kind of fall into the apathy. You're just kind of sitting there going, you're going through the motions as a fan watching the game. And that's where I was at with this game tonight. What is up? What is going on, everybody? Welcome back and welcome into the Seattle Mariners post-game recap. Mariners lose tonight to the Dodgers 3-0. They fall to 64 and 62 on the season. They are 5 games back in the AL West, I think 6.5 back in the wild card, and just continue to descend down in the standings. Before I go any further, the 3 big ones, as you guys know, if you can do me a favor, hit that like button. Mariners are struggling, but you can still support the channel. Comment your thoughts down below. And if you're new here or lurking, please hit that subscribe button. I just clapped past 4,000 subs on the road to 5,000. Obviously, as the Mariners season continues to go downhill, it becomes tougher to add subs. So if you're just stopping by and want to support a Mariners content creator, please hit that sub button. It does help me out tremendously. So thank you to everybody that's done that for your support. Channel members, I'll post the contest winner tomorrow. I'm actually not sure who won it. Mariners didn't have a lot of hits tonight, so it shouldn't be too hard to figure out who won that contest, but I'll have that up tomorrow. Listen, I'm not going to go on some rant about front office coaching. I've done that like the last 4 or 5 post-game recaps. Even after the win yesterday, me and Jake dove into that yesterday for the post-game recap. I can't do it. Otherwise, if I'm going to do it in every video, I've said my piece. You guys know where I'm at with it. I should just make one big video and end it. Be like, here you go. This is my thoughts, and I'll talk about the team if they happen to make a rally. But doing the post-game videos, I want to focus on some other stuff here. I'm actually going to try and focus on some of the positives with this team. They'll start with Bryan Woo. But listen, if they make a coaching changes, I'll talk about it. If not, whatever, on this season. And then once we hit the offseason, I will not be a whatever. I'll dive into it more and we'll really break it down. But as the season just slips away, the apathy set in. I've said my piece on it. I'm not going to harp on it every night. If you guys aren't clicking this every night to just hear that, maybe you are. If you are, I get it. Actually, I do. But for me, I try to mix it up a little bit on these recasts. But I'll certainly say that the effort tonight outside of Bryan Woo was certainly, and maybe Julio, was very, very disappointing from this ball club, and it continues to be. On what has just been a dreadful road trip. And are we shocked that they lost to the Dodgers? They're not beating the Angels, not beating the Tigers, not beating the Pirates. Do we think it was going to get magically turned around in LA? Hoping against hope, sure. There's always that. Outside of hey, baseball can be random sometimes. There just is not a lot of hope right now in this series against the Dodgers. Let's start with something very positive, though, and that's Bryan Woo, who certainly deserved a better fate than he was dealt. Truth, on this whole road trip, poor Bryan Woo has thrown 13 1/3 innings on this road trip, giving up 2 runs, struck out 11 or 12 with 2 walks, and the guy doesn't have a win to show for it on this road trip. He was phenomenal tonight against a just potent Dodgers lineup. Shohei Ohtani, Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman, Teoscar Hernandez, Gavin Lux, Will Smith, Max Muncy was back. Rojas is having a good year, and Tommy Edman made his Dodgers debut tonight as well. So, that is a lineup 1 through 9 that is just brutal on pitching, and Bryan Woo was sensational until that Gavin Lux home run in the 7th inning. The only hit Woo gave up was that first inning Ohtani single, which truthfully was a bit of a BABIP single. It was just kind of off the end of the bat. I don't think it was hit all that hard. I didn't look up the data on it, but certainly wasn't anything that was crushed by any means. And just made one mistake to Lux. And it's unfortunate that this pitching staff's in a position where one mistake just kills you. But my goodness, was Bryan Woo great tonight. And it's so great to see him going deep into games. We've seen the stuff from Bryan Woo all season, but he was battling injuries, only able to go 4 or 5 innings at a time, then needing 10 days off to just make the next start. It was frustrating because we know the talent he has. And now to see it, fingers crossed, staying healthy, seeing him go 7 innings in starts. This is now the 3rd straight start that he's pitched into the 7th inning. The last 2, he went a full 7, didn't do it tonight, but Woo has been absolutely fantastic. And again, against this lineup, what a tremendous, tremendous outing from Bryan Woo, who truthfully, you could make a case right now. You'd take one pitcher on this staff to pitch a big game. I don't think you'd be crazy picking Bryan Woo. I'd still probably lean towards Logan Gilbert, Castillo, Kirby in some kind of that order, just a little more experience. But man, I wouldn't argue with you if you said Woo. I mean, he's had George Kirby like command this year. I mean, the strikeouts maybe aren't super high, but when you're not, walking anybody and you're dotting strikes, and he doesn't give up any hard contact either, so you can get away with it without having a ton of strikeouts. And he's getting enough strikeouts. It's not that he doesn't strike anybody out, just maybe not his greatest strength, essentially. But man, Bryan Woo has been absolutely fantastic. I forgot who posted on Twitter, but there was an overlay of the, I guess, slider or split, whatever he threw to Freeman along with his fastball, and the movement on it, the break on the pitch came so late. They did the overlay of it with the fastball and the breaking ball, and it was just incredible to see it. And there was the one where Freeman swung way over the top of it. You can see why he would when you saw the overlay of where the fastball was and where the breaking ball dropped off. Just insane. Bryan Woo was absolutely phenomenal. So impressed with Woo this year. And of course, the Mariners waste another quality start with figures, but Woo deserves a lot of praise. He has been phenomenal all season. Cannot wait for him. Please stay healthy, because I cannot wait to have Bryan Woo in this rotation in 2025. And it may allow you to maybe, if you have to trade a starter for a bat. I don't know. I don't want to get to that talk now, but if Woo can stay healthy, maybe he can do it. I don't know what's going on with Jimmy Garcia. Dude is one of the best relievers in baseball now. Can't keep the ball in the yard. He didn't pitch in the Pittsburgh series, but his last outing in Detroit struggled a bit. It was Munoz who gave up the home run, but the night before it was Garcia to Carpenter. Tonight it's Garcia to Muncy. It reminds me a little bit of 2018. The Mariners went out and got, Adam Warren, Sam Tuivailala, Zach Duke, really up the back in the bullpen. They were just all mid for a couple months. I like Jimmy Garcia. I do think in terms of like the team winning games, he will help them. But man, it's been frustrating. Just kind of a microcosm for the Mariners. Saucedo struggled, got one out, but walked two, and the out he got was on a line drive. Sauce continues to struggle. This team has really missed 2023 Gabe Spire. The offense is the main problem, but the bullpen has been scuffling. It has been really poor of late. I'm certainly not going to stand here and say that the offense would have done anything, but if you can keep that game 1-0, you have much better of a chance, and much more better chance of guys going up to bat knowing, hey, 1 ties this, 2 probably wins it. When you get down 3, it becomes tougher. The offense is a lot to blame for that, but the bullpen has really, really struggled here. We haven't seen Munoz since Detroit. They haven't been in a position to really use him. Garcia struggled. Saucedo is not sharp at all. Trent Thornton got the job done in the 9th inning, but Thornton's been mostly, hit or miss, mostly miss recently. Outside of Munoz, whose last appearance gave a home run, in Chargois, and maybe Voth, the bullpen's just really, really scuffling. And it's kind of an underrated reason why this team has dropped. Obviously, we know the offense, but the bullpen struggles have been a big reason for it. So definitely frustrating on the back end there. I mean, not much to say about the bats. 2 hits, 2 walks. Gavin Stone, career high in strikeouts. He tied his career high after the 3rd inning. And when he did that with the 7 strikeouts after 3 innings, it wasn't like the Mariners had brought every count to a full count and just, lost and struck out. And not defending the strikeouts in that situation either. But he was at like 43 pitches through 3 innings with 7 Ks. And, one thing I noticed is it seems like every pitcher the Mariners face is just painting the corners, right? Dotting strikes. And I think a lot of that is because they come in with confidence, because they know they can keep this lineup at bay. So they go out there and they're feeling pretty good about shutting this lineup down. So I think that has a lot to do with it too. It's not just that these pitchers are randomly locked in against the Mariners. It's their confidence is boosted by facing this lineup. The only guy I thought that did anything tonight was really Julio. He had one of his hits taken away. Okay, I'm not sure why that was necessary. Just let us have something. But Julio 1 for 2 with a walk, on base twice. Turner had the other hit, and Rosarina had the other walk. They did have a couple line drives stung. Cal stung one that I thought for sure was going to score a Rosarina. Rojas stung one that ended up being a double play. And then Polanco, it was on the ground, but hit one pretty hard that also turned into a double play as well. Freddie Freeman was killing the Mariners defensively over there at first base. But just another very, very poor offensive performance, which is just, listen, there's 37 games to go. This offense is not good. There is no, bounce back tomorrow, right? I mean, I hope they do. I hope they bounce back and win tomorrow. But just in terms of, there's no scenario where this offense is going to be good for this season. I mean, they could go on one of the biggest heaters of all time, and they would still end up being poor offense. They're just not good. Gavin Stone's a pretty good pitcher. Was anybody shocked that he shut down the Mariners today? Not me. It was, at least they got this game done pretty quickly. But yeah, the apathy is just kind of set in for me. It was, even watching the game, I was very impressed with Bryan Woo, but I just wasn't, I just didn't have a lot of excitement, and obviously the Mariners didn't do anything to give excitement. They didn't put themselves in good situations, or situations where you'd be kind of standing up going, okay, let's do something here. But like I said, just a lot of apathy. When Lux hit the home run and Muncy did, it just kind of like, okay, whatever, a little bit. And that's kind of the worst part when that kicks in. I guess at least football season's up in 2 weeks. So we made it, right? That used to always be kind of the goal for the Mariners, was get me to football season entertained. And I guess they did it again this year. But, just continued disappointment really all around. I can't add much more than that. Frustrating loss. Hope they win tomorrow. I'll never not root for this team to win. You guys know that. But I've certainly really stopped. I don't even know if I'm going to have the standings update tomorrow at this point. We're kind of getting, now we're not even like, oh, they're just struggling, but they're still a hot streak away. You're getting 5 games back now. You're really starting to get to a point where even a hot streak won't save you. You're falling so far back here that now you're almost out of the discussion a little bit, unfortunately. So it is what it is. Hopefully they can find a way to win one tomorrow. We'll see. Bryce Miller on the mound. He's been phenomenal on this road trip. And then Logan on Wednesday. So feel pretty good about that. Feel good with Logan going. I don't feel good that they'll win because they got to score a run to win. Like I said, in terms of any managerial decisions today, they scored 0 runs. It wouldn't matter. That Gavin Lux home run was enough to beat you. So I don't know if there was anything today. And I'm just kind of, again, you guys know where I'm at that. I can't really add too much more to it. Have a great night, everybody. Remember to like, remember to comment, remember to hit that sub button. I'll be back tomorrow for the post-game recap. Take care, everybody. Until then, as always, we got to say it. Go Mariners. Peace.